So
No.
again, Netflix live, Christmas Day, Cowboys Commanders, 1 o'clock Eastern time, Lions Vikings. Diana's going to be at that one, 4:30 Eastern time. Pre-game coverage begins at 11 a.m. Where are you as you get ready for that one, Dianna? Let's talk football here on the Vikings quarterback situation, both micro and macro.
Yeah, I feel like it's really been an up and down season, and I feel like anytime we have to talk about J.J. McCarthy, we have to go back to the offseason, right? Because that's really where it started, him coming off serious knee surgery and recovering, rehabbing, and going through all this while Sam Darnold at the time was the starting quarterback and winning 14 games for this team. And obviously this Vikings organization made that decision to let Sam Darnold go to Seattle, let Daniel Jones walk to Indianapolis, where he then, of course, became the starter before he was just injured. And they did that believing that J.J. McCarthy is the guy. And you go back to listening to all those interviews about him, and whether it's, Justin Jefferson, even Kevin O'Connell, obviously almost every single day hearing from him, they have so much belief in him because he had shown so much development and growth and understanding of the offense. And I even spent some time with them in the summer. And I was there for the joint practices with the Patriots, actually. And let's just say, if I had to pick who the better quarterback was after watching practices that week, it would have been J.J. McCarthy by far over Drake May.
Interesting.
And look, it's August, so no one knows anything. It's not the same. But isn't that, it is interesting to think of the growth that Drake May has had. And now we've seen JJ obviously dealing with tons of injuries as part of this. So look, I think there's still belief there. How could you not after what we just saw last weekend as well in what he's able
Best
to do? So I don't have concerns over whether or not JJ McCarthy is going to be a Viking next year. Like, I don't think that's a conversation that's being had. I'm curious about how much that confidence that they had in him at the start of the year, if that still exists now when they were built to make a deep run here. They said no to Aaron Rodgers because they believed that much in JJ.
Right.
Because they knew about this roster.
Talking to Dianna Russini here, and let's make the connection here because I was going to jump to Kirk Cousins next. I'm not in any way suggesting Kirk is going to go back to the Vikings. I'm not trying to put that into the ether, although people have speculated here. But let's tie these all together because as you and I sit down here today, Raheem Morris is on the podium in Atlanta saying anything is possible when asked about would you bring Kirk back next year. I think most of us think that the last month here for JJ is kind of a referendum. Do we need a legitimate veteran in here with JJ next year? These are two separate different issues. But what do you make of Raheem saying anything is possible while Michael Penix rehabs a knee injury? Throwaway line on the podium or what?
Look, Raheem's been around a long time. He has seen it all. He knows how this goes. I mean, this is a team that invested so much money in Kirk Cousins, and then they go out and draft Michael Penix Jr. and they shocked the world, right? There were maybe 3 people who were aware of that, and we know now that it certainly wasn't Kirk Cousins and his agent. They had no idea that Atlanta was doing that. So, look, I think it's a throwaway line, and that's not just respect to Raheem. I think it's just the truth of they don't know what the future holds there. And I mean that from the top down.
Yeah, I was going to say for themselves, too.
They're not sure what, if Terry Fontenot, the general manager, will be there, if Raheem will keep his job there as the head coach. Obviously, what they just did, I thought, how does it not help their cause that they're the right people? They had that team ready to go. But it hasn't been a great year. I had somebody in the league, another coach actually say, man, if I had Atlanta's roster, which is never good, right? When you hear other people being like, gosh, they have so much talent. Why aren't they getting more out of it? But look, I think Kirk Cousins, that whole situation all year long, I think has just been difficult for him. Just knowing that this is not what he signed up for. I would love to ask Kirk at the Super Bowl, because I bet you he would open up to us a little bit more on Radio Row, if he could go back and do it over, if he would have stayed in Minnesota. If he would have found a way to make something work there, depending on how much, money he'd make, because he is the best businessman in football. I think there's a world where they'll try to keep Kirk. Here's the other thing too. And this doesn't exactly affect Atlanta, but you talk to general managers right now around the league, and they'll tell you this isn't a great quarterback draft class coming up.
It was
Veterans are
supposed
good
to
at
be, of course. Now it's punted to 2027.
Exactly. So you're going to see a lot of veteran quarterbacks that are going to be very valuable. Kirk's stock may be up again.
All right, where does Tua factor into all of that, Dianna Russini, next year?
They have so many decisions to make there as well. It's
is the time of year. $100 million cap hit, basically.
Andrew, we both have been doing this a long time. We know how this works. You bench your starting quarterback and you're paying him that much money, and he's got 6 years experience, and the head coach that you currently have in place has been able to get the most out of that quarterback, and nothing seems to be working now. We kind of know what happens next, which is they're going to most likely probably have to move on from Tua.
And then have to pay him to play quarterback for somebody else if somebody else wants him.
It's been done before.
Of course.
Right? Look at the Denver Broncos. They're the best example of a team that had to eat a lot of money, even more than that, $80 million something to move on from Russell Wilson. It's not apples to apples, though, as you know, right? Because think about how these rosters are built. This roster was built with Tua in mind, right? Whereas Denver, they had a good situation where most of their deals were structured in a way that, they were taking a hit financially, but they could get by if they could just get the quarterback. Voila, they get Bo Nix. It works out. Where is Miami going to go? That's the problem. Who's going to play quarterback for them if it's not Tua? And I back to the point I made about this upcoming draft. Not a lot of good choices out there.
Right. And right now you don't have a GM because you already fired Chris Greer a couple of weeks ago. You have a coach who, 4-game winning streak is nice, certainly. But at the same time, you have to step back if you're the owner and reevaluate the entire operation, including what you just laid out there for the contract and the quarterback. And where does he go? Where does Kyler go? Every year we say that the off-season quarterback carousel is going to be the most interesting ever. and then the next year goes, you know what? I can one-up that.
You are right. Like, where we've seen a lot of it. We've seen all the drama. Like, I even remember last year on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden Myles Garrett comes out of nowhere and is like, I want to trade.
Yeah, I was on a plane flying to New Orleans, and I landed and opened my phone and went, oh, okay.
It's just like this is why the NFL is awesome, is because you think they've squeezed every entertaining point out of this game, and they'll come up with another situation where you're like, oh yeah, that is interesting. Because Miami to me is interesting now because you're right. They don't have a general manager in place. They haven't met with anyone yet. They're putting together their list. They've got to make a decision on their head coach. I can tell you around the league, most think that Mike McDaniel will be safe. That could change, though. We've seen it happen a million times. How many times have we gone on the air and talked about a coach that was going to be safe and they're fired the next day, right? So the person that's going to come in there, and this is why I want to see who they land on here. They're going to have a lot of experience when it comes to making some big time decisions, because they're going to have to make some big ones if they want to be competitive next year.
All right. What is your one Christmas wish as we wrap this up, Dianna Russini? What is your one Christmas wish for either your Lions-Vikings game or the game in my hometown, the Cowboys-Commanders, or just the overall holiday cheer on the big Netflix button on my remote? Hold on, I could hold it up right there. There's a button that just says Netflix, and I'll hit that, and it'll go right to the game. Because
I've been a good girl this year, could I have two? Because one is personal. I would like my toddlers to see me on TV and think it's cool.
And please do the IG post where, like, Dad does it and the kids are pointing. Do one of those, please. Yep. Okay.
They don't care. They are not entertained by it at all. All they want to know is, did the Eagles win the game? That's all they want to know. I'm like, I wasn't even at the Eagles game, guys. But as for on Christmas Day on Netflix, my dream is that after the game, when we provide delicious steak to the winners and the quarterback, I want to cut that steak, and I'm hoping and praying that it's medium rare.
Yes.
It
Thank
needs
you.
to be medium rare. I don't know why I'm spending my time thinking about what that steak's going to taste like, but I have been. So I feel like if it's medium rare and it's good, my Christmas will be made because it's just like eating at home on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Why would we ever make America eat a well done steak?
Oh,
Ugh.
so un-American.
If I wanted to watch hockey, I'd watch hockey because a well done steak is a hockey puck.
Will you think of me when I'm doing it now? Like when you see me cutting it and like watching the guys eat it, you'd be like, I wonder if she's looking to see if there's some blood in there. Is it
So
pink?
absolutely, yeah, I will be flat on my back on the floor trying to process what my brother made for dinner, and probably in and out of sleep. Not because of the game. The game's going to be amazing right down to the wire. I just have a hard time, on December 25th, later in the evening, actually getting up off the floor.
I get it.
But I look forward to seeing you on the screen when I am passed out for my Christmas meal. Lions, Vikings, 4:30. Before that, Cowboys, Commanders, 1 p.m. The NFL Christmas Game Day Live on Netflix. Pregame is at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Dianna Russini, break a leg, figuratively speaking. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that. Hope to see you somewhere on the road getting frequent flyer miles soon.
Thank you, Andrew.